Hey guys, Yuri K here. In today's video, I will be discussing the dangers of using microwaves. As we are well aware, microwaves are a very common household item in most of the developed world. In fact, they are available in about 90% of the American households. Microwaves have become very popular and commonplace for the reason that they are inexpensive and can thaw, heat, or cook food quickly, which makes it convenient for a lot of people. However, there are a number of drawbacks and dangers to using microwaves, which I will explain in a few moments. In order to better understand the negative impacts and dangers of using microwaves, we first have to understand how a microwave works. A microwave is a device which emits a form of radiation called microwaves, which are electromagnetic radiation on the low end of the energy spectrum, second only to radio waves, with a frequency of approximately 2.4 gigahertz. This frequency is pretty similar to many of the electronic devices that we use today, such as TVs, radios, Wi-Fi routers, as well as radio and cell phone towers. The difference being is that the microwaves, when in operation, are more concentrated when our food is being cooked. So each microwave inside of it has a device called a magnetron, which is responsible for the emission of the microwaves. The microwaves get bounced around inside the microwave oven when food is inside, and they heat the food by way of causing water molecules inside the food to violently and rapidly vibrate, thus producing friction, which causes the food to heat up. And so moisture is required in order for the microwave to work in heating the food. For without moisture, nothing is going to heat up. So for that very reason, when we heat food, there's going to be an uneven distribution of heat, because the areas of the food that contain more moisture will be heated more quickly than the areas that are drier. Now, this vibration is extremely rapid and extremely violent, and it actually deforms and rips apart the H2O water molecules inside the food. The violent action of the water molecules will also have a negative impact on the food itself. It's going to cause the atoms inside the molecules of the food to shift around and to create a physically different kind of food than the one that was put into the microwave for cooking in the first place. So during this alteration process, the food is going to go through a degradation cycle in which it's going to lose most, if not all, of its nutrient content. For example, when you heat or cook broccoli inside a microwave, it's going to lose approximately 97% of its nutrient value versus 11% when being steamed inside a pot. So essentially, the food becomes bland and lifeless. The food has lost its primary nutritional value, and we have to keep in mind that when we grow food naturally out in the open in the sun, without the intervention of genetic modification, GMO, food, in fact, all living organisms, people, animals, and plants, are going to absorb essential light energy from the sun. They're going to store that energy in the form of biophotons, which are the basic unit of light energy. So when food goes through the degradation process inside the microwave, it's going to lose all its biophotons as well as the majority, if not all, of its nutrients, and essentially become a useless and lifeless food with absolutely no nutritional value. But what's even worse is that this alteration to the food is going to convert it into a food that is not even recognized for consumption by the human body. Essentially, it's like a frankenfood, which is foreign to the body, and the body doesn't even know what to do with it or how to manage it. So it's going to create inflammation, illness, and general poor health. Did you know that virtually all food that is heated inside a microwave is going to begin producing carcinogenic substances? So virtually every food that you put in the microwave, without you necessarily even knowing it, goes from being healthy and nutritious to being cancer forming. So microwaving foods is going to promote cancer growth in the body. Obviously, it's not going to have a dramatic effect in the short term, say in one day, 1 week, or 1 month, or maybe even 1 year, but over the course of many years of using a microwave every day to heat your food, the cumulative effects will take their toll on the body and make you a lot more prone to getting cancer. Furthermore, simply being in close proximity to a working microwave also puts you in danger of having the waves leak out and penetrate your tissues and organs and cells as well. Just think that if the microwaves have this kind of an effect on food, what kind of effect will they have on your human body? They're going to also begin to degrade and mutate your cells gradually, and as a result, it's going to promote cancer growth in the body. So you never want to be in close proximity to a working microwave, and especially if you're going to heat food, never ever put food inside a plastic container, because the plastic itself is made up of numerous chemicals, the worst ones of which are BPAs. And the BPAs are going to slowly leach out into the food, and under high temperature, the plastic itself is going to deform and degrade and leak its toxic chemicals into the food, making it even that much more dangerous and cancer forming. So if you absolutely must heat your food inside a microwave, if there's nothing else available to heat up your food, and I strongly advise against using microwaves in general, I would suggest putting your food inside a glass container when heating it. But again, I want to stress that if you can avoid using microwaves entirely, then that would be the best course of action. In addition to promoting genetic mutation and cancer in the body, somewhat similar to people who live close to radio and cell phone towers, are consistently exposed to elevated levels of radiation from the power lines, which are going to also genetically affect their cells and begin to mutate their DNA and chromosomes. So as a result, people that live close to power lines oftentimes have a higher rate of cancer because they are in close proximity to these toxic radiation waves than those people that live further away and are not exposed as much. The vibrational frequency of microwaves also has a negative impact on blood composition and chemistry. For example, it's going to cause an increase in LDL or bad cholesterol and a decrease in HDL or good cholesterol, thus negatively impacting the cholesterol profile. Also, it's going to increase the amount of triglycerides or fats in the blood, negatively affecting the lipid profile. And furthermore, it's going to reduce the amount of red blood cells in the blood, thus reducing the amount of oxygen that the hemoglobin is going to carry to our vital organs, tissues, and cells. So less oxygen will be available for our body to work with. And in severe cases, this can lead to anemia. Furthermore, microwaves have a negative way of impacting our metabolism and our blood glucose levels. They tend to cause the blood glucose levels to increase and make our bodies less insulin sensitive, which is going to make it more difficult for the insulin to do its job in getting the excess glucose out of the blood. So as a result, the excess glucose in the blood oftentimes will get stored as fat in the body and will also promote general inflammation and potentially type 2 diabetes in the long run. Keep in mind that type 2 diabetes, also known as adult onset diabetes, is primarily caused by the body's inability to effectively manage its blood glucose levels, often due to insulin insensitivity. And finally, microwaves negatively impact our central nervous system and brain. They overexcite and overstimulate the brain, causing the neurons to fire signals at a rapid rate, such as the normal response you would get when undergoing extreme stress or a fight or flight response due to fear. However, the microwaves are going to cause this overstimulation of the brain in the absence of normal stimulus that would present such a situation. So the brain is going to be chronically overstimulated, which is going to cause it to become overstressed, overburdened, and it's going to wear out. Furthermore, the adrenal glands are also going to become overburdened and worn out as well. They're going to start producing too much cortisol, which is our stress hormone, in order to try to reduce the stress levels on the body. So these are the main dangers of using microwaves. Again, I would advise to avoid using microwaves as much as possible, and if you can, not to use them entirely, and try to find an alternate and safer cooking method. For example, toaster ovens or regular ovens, which is going to better preserve the healthy nutritional value of your food. Now, unfortunately, radiation is all around us. We cannot avoid radiation entirely. We use electronics every day in our modern society. There's cell phones, TVs, radios. Even when we drive inside the cars, there's radiation. There's radio and cell phone towers, so radiation is everywhere. However, it is within our ability and scope to limit exposure in certain ways. So by eliminating one factor, a microwave, we can limit the exposure that we have to microwaves as a whole. And keep in mind, when microwaves are in operation, when they're working, they're going to provide a concentrated form of radiation. So by being able to avoid that, we're taking one step towards improving our health. So I hope you guys liked the video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up. Please comment, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more good videos to follow on various health, nutrition, and exercise topics. And also, please remember to follow me on Instagram at YuriK0877, which I will post in the info box down below when you click on and expand your page. So thanks again, guys. This is Yuri K signing out. Until the next one, take care. Bye-bye.